Bonjour tout le monde, welcome to Weekday Wanderings in Paris. My name's Jackie. I'm in the 10th arrondissement at the moment. We are next to this amazing little wall. I'm not really sure what's going on here, but it's got some beautiful pictures here. Let's have a look. Look. So all down the length of here, some beautiful little pictures of people, everyday people. Okay, so we're next to the Hôpital Saint-Louis in the 10th arrondissement, and the corner that we're on at the moment is quite sad really, because if you can remember the Bataclan massacres, etc., and a lot of restaurants were attacked that particular night. These two here were those which were attacked. Before I talk about that though, I wanted to show you this. Unfortunately, it's not a very pretty side, but this is where I was heading to today. So this is inside the Hôpital Saint-Louis. Now the Hôpital Saint-Louis was built in the 1600s, the early 1600s. Let me just say hello to who joined us. Glenda May and Judy and Kim. Bonjour, bonjour, bonjour. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So this Hôpital Saint-Louis was built by Henry IV, so Henri IV. In honor of Saint Louis, who was Louis IX of France, and he actually died of the plague when he came back from the Crusades, and so this hospital was built as a memorial to him because of him dying of the plague. And their speciality was skin diseases, so this was actually the first place where skin diseases or dermatology was developed. Bonjour, Susan McGregor. So we're in the corner of Rue Bichat and Rue Alibert. So Alibert was actually the very first dermatologist. He sort of invented the discipline, and that's why the street's named after him. Now, Bichat was a pathologist, and he discovered or established the discipline of histology, which is the study of tissues. Okay, and here we have a memorial to the 13 people who were killed at the two restaurants opposite us right now. Okay, so 13 people died. That was on the 13th of November 2015. Okay, so when I organise my little walks, so quite often I'll have a place in mind, and what often ends up happening is I'll go and do a bit of research and I'll discover a whole lot of extra things that I never intended to see. So I did a lot of walking yesterday and ended up discovering all these other things that I thought, oh yeah, okay, and here we go, we ended up here for our walk today. So we're walking down now, so we're walking away from Le Petit Cambodge and Le Carillon, which were the two restaurants I was talking about, and we're heading down here towards the Canal Saint-Martin. So actually I didn't really know about the Saint Louis hospital. I mean, I knew the hospital, but I didn't know that it was a specialty of skin diseases. So it was built in a running in a courtyard, and the idea was that all the patients, of course, would be completely isolated. So yeah, and actually I went in there before, and you can go in and just go into the gardens and it's beautiful. It's so tranquil in there. So, and it was really weird because you have to show your pass sanitaire when you go through, which is quite funny because it's the first time I've had to use that in such a long time. Judy says, I just saw someone running in a t-shirt. Yeah. Does that mean, you know, it's well and truly summer now? Not quite. Hi, Sally Davies. How's your macaron going? Yeah, so weather-wise, it's very sunny, very, very, very sunny, quite glary. It starts off quite chilly, so it's very chilly at the moment, but it will get warmer, much warmer, and I have been getting a little bit of sunburn on my face for the last few days, so that's what the weather's doing here. Okay, so back to the Hôpital Saint-Louis. They have a museum, a very unique museum, which is called the Musée du Moulage, and that was the building that I was pointing to back there, which of course I'm far, far away from now. But that is where basically they used to take moule or mold castings of people with various skin diseases, mostly things like syphilis and, you know, leprosy and the plague and things like that. So all of those mouldings were actually kept and categorized, and so that's what's available in the museum back there. Unfortunately, it was shut today. Well, it's unavailable because it's actually in the hospital. They're running a conference there, so they weren't taking people into the museum. But I will head back there some other time and I will take some photos. Right, so here we are at the Canal Saint-Martin. Isn't it pretty? So you can imagine here it's going to start getting very busy with the improved weather. In the summertime, both sides of this will be completely covered with people and enjoying the sun and having picnics and such. So it's always a really lovely place to come and hang out. All right. So Sally finally got some macaron to work. Bravo. I have never made macaron. I've been experimenting with pavlovas for the last few weeks. So that's kind of where I'm at the moment. But I really should try macaron. The problem is I'm not a big fan of macaron. So it's probably going to be a bit pointless. Whereas pavlova, on the other hand, I'm a huge fan. Okay. Alright, so the Canal Saint-Martin. So of course we're very close to the area of Saint-Martin. We were there a few weeks ago. Why do we have a Canal Saint-Martin? Well, it was built in the 1824 it was inaugurated, but it was Napoleon that actually kicked off the idea in the very early 1800s. And the idea was it was a sanitation issue. Now, when we did our walk at La Villette, if you were a part of that, so La Villette is on the Canal de l'Oc, and that was a water reservoir that was originally used to provide, you know, water for Paris. And then obviously they needed to be able to get that water from La Villette to Paris and then into the Seine. So what happened was they built this canal. Merci monsieur. Je peux passer? Merci. Okay. Right. Let's go in there. There's some happy people today. Oh, okay, this gate. Oh, I was trying to open the wall and not the gate. Okay, so here's one of the locks for the canal. I think there's 3 double-stepped locks. And then of course you have a lot of these lovely overbridges as well, which are all very pretty. I have been here a few times when a canal, a boat has gone through, but I've never actually been on a canal boat. And I know, you know, there's tours you can do, so that would be something really interesting to do. Okay, so obviously you can see the canal here. Right, but later on, so we're talking in the 1830s, no, actually no, it was a bit later than that. It was under the Second Republic. So in the late 1848 onwards, Napoleon the Third, as he's called, he decided that with his houseman refurbishments of Paris, they needed to create these big boulevards. And so they decided to put the canal underground. Okay, so where the canal starts at the Bassin de la Villette to where it empties into the Seine is 4.6 kilometres long, and 2.2 kilometres of that is actually underground. So this is where it comes underground, up here. Okay. So here's a beautiful little bit of springtime. Got some pretty flowers happening. Okay. Now, just back briefly to our talk about the 13th of November attacks. So the restaurant just over there, La Bombière, that was the second place that was hit, and there were 5 people killed there. So we're going to cross the road now. Now if we look over here, you can see the back of Marianne, that's the Place de la République. So we ended our walk there a couple of weeks ago, the one that we were at the top, at the temple, and so Republic's just down there, just to give you an idea of where we were. So Republic is easily accessible, so there was line 3, line 8, 9 and 11, so if you want to get here. So this is a memorial here for the people who were killed just over the road at La Bombière. Okay. This is a neat little statue. This is La Grisette. La Grisette. Now I had to look up what a grisette was, and a grisette was a woman who wore cotton clothes. Now when you wear cotton and you wash it, it goes grey. And La Grisette refers to a young lady between the ages of 18 and 30 who is not married, who works, usually, you know, maybe as a sewer or a housemaid or something like that, and her she's free, as you like. They said that you know, that differentiates a young woman who's married and a young woman who's perhaps a prostitute, for example. And of course, La Grisette is someone who's more independent. So of course we're talking in an age, you know, very much passé. And La Grisette, you would often have a lot of them in this area. And this area was quite famous for cloth manufacture. And we'll talk about a cloth manufacturer very soon. So at the moment we're this boulevard that's been created, so we're literally on top of the Canal Saint-Martin at the moment. So this is reclaimed, and of course they make use of it by putting in lovely gardens and playground equipment and things like that, and covered areas. I don't have any comments, so I'm not sure if people are commenting and they're not showing or what's happening. But I can see your love hearts and thumbs ups and stuff, so that's nice. Okay, so if we look down here, you would actually see into the canal. Okay, so the covered area of the Canal Saint-Martin goes all the way to Bastille. So if we continue all along here, we will eventually get to Bastille, and of course it opens up under the metro station and empties into the Porte d'Arsenal, which is a Porte de Plaisance. Okay. So obviously lots of cafes and stuff around here, not so much right here, but it's a very sociable area. Oh, that's right, we're on the boulevard Jules Ferry. Now Jules Ferry, he was the first president of the French Senate. He was also the Prime Minister of France at one point. And his, I guess, biggest claim to fame is he instituted a free and compulsory education for all children. So that was his major legacy. So I've gone outside of the little garden part, probably a bit more interesting if I was to go on the inside. So bonjour to other people who may have entered our little group. Merci. Oh, I think I've just gone through a dead end. Okay, I have to turn around. So there we go, nice little playground area. So in other news, so I'm not hearing a lot of feedback, so I'm assuming that the messages aren't popping up. So I'll just keep rambling on as I do. Oh, here we go. Jennifer Schaefer. Hello, Jennifer. Beautiful pictures. Can't wait till I'm there next year. Keep up good posts. Thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate that. I'm pleased that you can join me and come along and enjoy these beautiful sights. So, of course, we saw the best part, which in my opinion is along the canal. But, of course, there's lots of cool things along here as well. So it was really tricky for me to decide where to come. It's always tricky for me to decide where to come because there's always interesting things to see, and the moment I pick one place, then it's like, oh, just down there's actually another place which is even more interesting. So I always, it's always a bit of a dilemma for me where I actually end up taking you. And sometimes it's really tricky to choose a place that's doesn't have a lot of, say, roadworks or, ugly parts that we don't really want to show off. We want to show you lots of interesting places. Oh, look. Here we have a market. Jennifer says, you're welcome, from Australia. So lots of people in Australia. Okay, so it's Anzac weekend, right? So New Zealand we commemorate, on the 25th, and I believe in Australia you commemorate on the 26th. So if I were a little more mobile this weekend, I would have headed off to Le Quesnoy, which is a beautiful city in the north of France. And it was liberated by New Zealand forces just a week before the end of World War I. And that was pretty special. Here we go, got a market. Everyone likes the market, don't they? But people do not like being videoed in a market. Okay. So Sally, you also commemorate on the 25th. Okay. So yes, if you were Australian and were in France, you might go to Amiens, for example. They are very, Amiens is very, very close with the Australian fraternity for much the same reason as Le Quinois is for New Zealanders. Look at those strawberries. Oh my gosh, I can smell them. Okay. So this is a decent sized market, isn't it? And of course the other thing that's happening this weekend in France is we're having elections, the final round of elections. So by Sunday night we will have a brand new president. He may be the incumbent, or she may be a new one. Okay, I have a question here. Sorry, I've just missed some comments there. Amiens, my mother's uncle was killed in Amiens. Yeah. Amiens, but the two is Weekday. Yeah. I mean, there are lots and lots of towns in that area. There's quite a few for New Zealanders, but I guess the one big one is Le Quinois. But yeah, it's I think it's really I have to choose my words correctly. It's really cool. Cool's not the right word, but to see the links between, you know, us from New Zealand and Australia over the other side of the world. Makes us feel very connected in a way, even though it's sad circumstances. Somebody asked a question about the fruit. What's in season? What fruit is in season at the markets? Well, the thing is that fruits, we always have things in season here because France, of course, has a lot of, I mean, with the European Union, we get fruit and vegetables from all over Europe and certain places where the climate's a little warmer, so we will always have strawberries. Quite often you get strawberries that are from Spain, so even in the middle of winter some places in Spain are like summer. So yeah, we don't really have seasons as such. This is a big market, yeah?
Allez, fraises, framboises, des petits prix, des cadeaux, c'est par ici.
But yeah, look at that. Right, I have no idea where I'm at now because, of course, I'm just stuck here in the market. Lots of clothes coming out. Alright, we're on the boulevard Richard Lenoir. And Richard Lenoir, he was a textiles magnate. He had a bit of an empire in terms of cotton, which is what I was talking about La Grisette before. Sally says, in Villiers, Brett and I nearly had, just a sec, oh, okay, sorry, I'm reading that wrong. In Weekday, I nearly had a Boulevard de Melbourne. Oh yes, the Meuse is a twin town with Robinvale, which is another town in northern Victoria, and there is a school that has a Victorian name. Yeah. So likewise in New Zealand, or with Le Quinois, we have a lot of things like twins with that. Le Quinois has a lot of places like there's the Avenue de la Nouvelle-Zélande and the alley, the Place des All Black, which I find really funny. The Maison de Waikato, which is the tourist centre, and things like that. So yeah, there's a lot of twinning with names and that. And of course, Arras is another town in northern France, or a little bit north. And there are the tunnels there, which are called the Carrier Wellington, named after Wellington, New Zealand, of course. And the Carrier Wellington is They also, in Wellington, in New Zealand, they have the Ahas Tunnel, which was obviously twinned with that. So, okay, so I'm rambling a lot, but I thought here might be a really good place to end my walk. Okay, so on the ground here, we have lots of these things here. So back onto the topic of the 13th of November 2015, we are here opposite the Bataclan Theatre. This is the Bataclan Theatre. And of course that was where 90 people were murdered in the massacres, and I believe there will be 90 brass plaques here commemorating all of those people who died at that event. So they all go into this little garden here. Okay, and they all go along there as well. So the Bataclan Theatre is actually quite beautiful. I've been here before, you know, like I went to the actual door where they have the memorial plaque on the wall, but I didn't realise the whole building is actually really beautiful. I mean, it's kind of, you know, it's really different. It stands out, doesn't it? And look, there's an apartment up there for sale. So if you want to live there, that would be such a cool place to live, wouldn't it? So anyway, I do feel a bit funny pointing my camera at places of somber significance like this. So let me try and be a little discreet. Yeah, see, we have some more plaques here. Okay. Et voila. Okay. So let's leave it at that, shall we? Well, okay. So thank you again for joining me for a random wander somewhere significant and pretty and interesting and all of that. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if there's anywhere in particular you would like to go. I have tons and tons of ideas, but sometimes it helps me to narrow it down. If somebody says, oh, I'd really like to see blah, 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 then I can go, oh, I know, I can do a walk in that area, and then I can incorporate some of the things I'm already, you know, talking about, so, or wanting to talk about and show you. So let me know your ideas if you like. Thank you again, everybody. Take care. And of course with Anzac, lest we forget. And of course, wish us all luck for our elections on Sunday. So, merci tout le monde, merci Susan, Jennifer, Sally, Judy of course, Kim, Susan McGregor, Glenda May, and everybody else who joins us later. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you later. Bye. Yeah, salut, go Macron. Ooh. Well, it's a dodgy subject at the moment. The country is very torn. Wish us luck. Take care. Bye.